Is Caracas or is it Sarah Sanctum?
I think it's Sarah Sanctum because Emrakul's uncounterable.
I would imagine. Is he counting?
He's counting his
He's
enchantments.
counting if he has enough mana to cast it. I think he actually put Caracas on the table. No, that's
No.
a Sarah Sanctum. Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Just double checking his
7, 8,
his
9,
math.
10. Yeah. Wow. Make some mana.
Man. Hauptmann had turn 1 Grizzlebrand,
Wait.
right? And he's gonna lose this game.
Wait. Is he not casting Emrakul?
Maybe.
Doesn't he not have enough anymore?
I don't know.
Oh no, he still has this. He still has this land to tap.
Okay.
But yeah,
He's paging all the way back. The Emrakul's in there somewhere, right? Are we crazy?
no, we're not crazy. He definitely drew it.
Okay.
12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I think he's just making sure he has enough.
Okay. There it is.
Emrakul trigger. Oh my god. God, if you're
Yep.
this is a turn 1 Grizzlebrand.
And he's gonna lose.
He's losing to this turn 1 Grizzlebrand.
I don't know if there was anything that he could
He's
do
beating it.
though, because
Because Emrakul's uncounterable. He could have
so
forced,
like the whole game.
he could have forced a presence. He could have
Yeah.
he could have fought over these presences.
Yes. The whole game, Haubin was trying to not show and tell a second time.
Yeah.
Which was good because Bowman actually had Emrakul.
Yeah.
So it would have backfired tremendously. But like that turned out to be the only way that Haubin could have gone to like add more pressure.
Yes.
So weird.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty nuts. And he, by the way, he also has the Crocus, so he could just cast it again next turn. Not this would only be relevant.
Kunt the
if,
Fourth says that he does not have Caracas yet, but also does not need to.
no, he has the Crocus in his hand.
Sure.
I think he's just gonna go to discard right now. The only thing that matters that he keeps is Caracas,
Yeah.
and even then, I would say that barely matters. He's keeping just all the helms that he can.
Sure.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it looks like
Come on, Haubin.
an Elephant Grass, a Sarah Sanctum.
Let's concede. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just gonna step him up. Wow.
You're beat. Come on.
That is crazy. I can't believe Andrew won that game.
That was awesome.
That's probably already the best Enchantress game I've ever seen.
Enchantress is an extremely powerful deck. It just needs the time to set up.
By the way, that was going to be a perfect victory.
Yeah?
Yeah.
No permanence in play?
Dead, no permanence.
Yeah. He was going to have cards in hand.
You're right. You're right. I was wrong. I was wrong. He could have put him to no cards in library too,
That's true.
which would have been equally delightful.
Sure.
Do you disagree?
Equally painful.
Equally painful. I think it's pretty great. Game 2 coming up between these two players, and man, I did not see that coming.
It was very interesting because Haubin was, I think, correct. It seemed correct how aggressively he was trying to find sneak attack to just end it.
Yes.
And it turned out he needed to take one turn off the clock. You know, he was one turn short. Chevrolet, thank you for the follow. Also, Swerosa and K Todaz and Erased Citizen. Thank you guys all for the follow.
Thank you.
Viscopa, I do not know where you can find these playmats, but it seems like the brand is Gamer Mats, if that helps. I think Card Market just happened to have these, or maybe ordered it specifically for our coverage purposes. Ooh. 12 Ron. Thank you for the follow. Yeah. Oh, and if we have any people who are new to our stream tonight, just to mention our schedule. So Phil and I do commentary here basically every Thursday night, 7:30 Central Time, and we do Legacy every Thursday, typically 4 rounds. And we also do Wednesdays for Modern, also 7:30 Central Time. Phil and I usually don't do the commentary for that night, but we have a number of other competent talkers in the store, so we try to do a good job, and we are still learning along with all of you guys and with our players as well. Also, Strictly Herbal, thank you for the follow. Yeah, so going to game 2 here, Sneak and Show versus Enchantress. I imagine that Bowman could have some potentially very hateful sideboard cards for this matchup, like Humility.
Yeah, Humility's a beating.
Even like Oblivion Ring, like it seems like post board it's going to be extremely risky to go for Show and Tell.
Yes.
On Kyle's side, I wonder if we're going to see him board in Through the Breach. I doubt Blood Moon comes in against the Wild Growth Basic Forest deck. Despite it, it would be nice to have against Serra Sanctum.
I think Blood Moon is just not that powerful here.
Yeah.
I think the Enchantress deck pretty comfortably fights through that.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if you bring in Pyroclasm to kill Argothian Enchantress.
I don't think you do.
Yeah?
I think that's the wrong plan.
You think that's way too cute?
Mm-hmm.
Because that is a pretty good way to get around Shroud.
It's also I think it's a pretty good way to dilute your game plan.
Yeah, that's fair. TX Rager asks if Humility is just GG. I think main deck, it would be.
Yes.
I kind of anticipate that Houtman will be bringing in Wipeaways or Echoing Truths, because most of Bowman's interaction is going to be permanent based.
I think Wipeaway just almost always comes in for Kyle.
Yeah. It also seems like Emrakul is Houtman's better threat as well, because
doesn't get stopped by elephant grass.
Yeah. And also just blowing up, like, even if it's not lethal, just blowing up a bunch of permanents is going to be better than drawing 7, I think, most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Bowman taking a mulligan to start our second game. Kyle keeping. Interesting matchup.
Yeah, I really did not expect it to be as interesting as it was.
Enchantress is such a wonky deck.
Yeah. It just does its own unique thing.
Yeah.
Where it's like kind of a combo deck, kind of like
a prison deck.
A prison deck. It's like it's like a prison deck with a combo finish.
It's an engine deck.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know if there's any legacy deck that's better at drawing cards.
There is certainly not.
I mean, the closest is probably Elves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, they are not like they're very different decks, but they have that in common. They have that and mana production in common, I guess.
Elves draws an insane amount of cards. I remember, so often Elves is listed as one of the most complicated decks in Legacy, but I remember Ari Lax disputed that.
I agree with that.
Yeah, he disputed it.
Yeah.
And he said his best, the reasoning is, it doesn't really matter what you do, because you always draw more cards than your opponent. You can just figure it out.
Yeah.
You're going to overpower them most of the time anyways.
It's a lot of repeated game actions.
Yes.
There's obviously, like, best sequencing and best, like, ordering.
No.
It's like...
Ordering of your spells is extremely important in that deck.
Yeah, but, like, there's also just, like, a huge power to it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's also, like, to some extent, there's only so bad you can screw up.
Especially once Natural Order became the de facto win condition in the deck.
Yeah, that's a lot easier than the Mirror Entity kill.
Oh, yeah.
Like, a lot easier.
Yes, I think...
A lot faster, too.
I think often people overrate the complications of Elves. I will say, the close games with Elves
those
are very hard.
Yes. The ones where you're coming up against a lot of opposition and playing around things, playing through hate cards.
Beating stuff like Engineered Plague.
Yeah. Those games can be very difficult. But it's not really like you're winning those games like because it's Elves. You're winning them because like you're playing tight. You're like using your Deathrite Shaman correctly. Like that's just like playing Magic well. I don't really see that as like specific skills to Elves necessarily. I don't know.
There are things that come up. Like,
I guess so.
It's mostly just knowing all the interactions in your deck.
Sure.
All right.
That's like true of every deck, right?
Yes. just pretty punishing in that one.
Fair.
Um,
Yeah, I guess you're playing a lot of 1-mana 1/1s. So.
Yes. All your spells cost the same, so you necessarily have a lot of decisions. Mm-hmm. All right. Kyle just going with Volcanic Island pass. Andrew has Windswept Heath pass. Let's see if we have something good. Oh, we got a main phase Brainstorm from Kyle. He's kept his 7 notably. Andrew on 5 cards. He does have... Wow. He has Eye of the Storm in his hand.
I don't know what that does.
Oh, don't worry. We'll look it up later.
You think it'll come up?
No. I think it will definitely get Force of Will.
Let's
Oh,
see.
no, it's not Eye of the Storm. This is way too expensive.
Yes.
It's a blue enchantment that says... Oh, boy.
What is that card?
It's the far left.
I see.
If someone
I don't
would
know what
cast
card
an
that
instant
is.
or sorcery, they have to. It's countered unless they pay its mana cost. I'm sure Cook would know it because it's an enchantment that could be played in Enchantress.
Perfect.
But I don't remember what the actual card is called.
Looking at you, Cook. If you want to get out of the conversation in the chat, you can you can just answer.
No, Cook wants to get out of the Four Horsemen conversation. It's just about how
yeah.
it is not a playable deck at the moment. Not a playable deck according to tournament rules.
Yeah. Instead, you can answer the question of what that blue card in Bowman's hand is.
Yes, it's soft band and competitive REL, basically. Great to hear, Grantfly. Where would we be without you?
Grantfly was playing in an online qualifier.
Ooh,
Are they called PPTQs online or no?
That's the one. In
Wow.
the Eye of Chaos.
What on earth? Dear God, what is this?
Yep. All instants and interrupts are countered unless their caster pays an additional X, where X is the casting cost of the spell being cast. Wow, that is redundant.
Yeah. So it just makes things really expensive. It seems like it have to come down really quickly to matter much. Like if Houtman just hits his land, like Enchantress is not denying mana, you know?
Yeah, not in a very effective way.
If Houtman just hits his land drops, also Bowman I think lacking blue mana.
Is this sneak attack? No, this is Jace. This is even worse, I would say. Oh, he also bounced his Dryad Harbor. I've had this happen to me before. I
yeah.
don't recommend it.
Don't recommend it from the Jace side.
No, the other side.
Don't recommend letting your Dryad Arbor get Jace bounced.
It feels really bad. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Bowman had much of a choice in this matter. But yeah, I agree. He shouldn't have let that happen.
All right, Dryad Arbor getting played.
Well, that time he could have not let that happen.
Well,
Maybe he wants Houtman to keep using his Jace in this manner.
for those wondering, the reasoning you're not allowed to play Four Horsemen is that you're not advancing. You're not advancing the game state.
Man. Yeah, if anyone was in the chat getting heckled by Grantfly, don't worry, Mubot's taking him down. Too many caps.
Yep, he's out of control. Calm
Yep.
that man down. All right,
Real wild guy.
Kyle activating the Brainstorm ability on Jace at the moment. Plays Lotus Petal. Ooh, looks like we got Lotus Petal and Sneak Attack coming down.
Kyle dealing himself all kinds of damage.
I think he's okay with it.
He might be. Alright,
Activate Sneak Attack.
Tap that Lotus Petal.
There's a Grizzlebrand.
I wonder if we're drawing 7. Yep.
Oh, we're definitely going
Looking for Emrakul and another Petal.
I think he has Emrakul on top already
Okay.
from the Brainstorm. Let's just see if we can find that Petal.
He did play a land this turn, right?
He did.
Nope,
No.
he didn't.
No, because he had 4 mana in play last turn.
Okay. Alright.
He's like, gonna go get a red land, gonna kill
Game
you.
3.
That was much more lopsided.
Slightly. I think that was what we were expecting out of game 1.
I gotta
to
say,
be
it's
honest.
the player who bounces the other player's Dryad Arbor with Jace.
Yeah.
That player is favored.
Usually favored.
That's my rule. Grantfly, what is your record in the preliminary PTQ? I'd love to know. I'm assuming it's not very good. Andrew going to be on the play for this last game here. I think he's mostly just looking to not mulligan to 5 here. His hand just didn't seem like it did much. He kept a 1-lander. Instead of drawing a land, drew Green Sun Zenith. Oh, you're 1 and 2. Fantastic. He drew Green Sun Zenith and then wasn't able to do much with it afterwards. quickly just falling to Kyle's superior card quantity. Oh wow, that's great, Grandfly. I don't feel good for you. All right, we'll see if something more equal will happen in this game. Something more resembling that first game, at least. That first game was pretty incredible. Andrew coming from behind to beat a turn 1 Grizzlebrand. The power of Argothian Enchantress will not be undermined. All right, let's see. Both players are going to take a look at their 7s. Ooh, Andrew does have Caracas in the opener, as well as Green Sun Zenith.
Ooh.
If you enchant, I think there's a City of Solitude in there.
Sounds great.
His hand looks pretty reasonable. There's a Green Sun. Yeah, he's. Let's see if he Zeniths for 0 to start things off. Probably just going to go ramp and get a Dryad Arbor. He does. Zenith for 0 here. Gets Dryad Arbor, shuffles in the Green Sun Zenith, and passes. I'll pull up Green Sun Zenith. This is one of my favorite cards.
Oh yeah.
This is almost certainly my favorite card in Elves. It's certainly the most fun card to cast.
Pretty powerful. Banned in Modern.
Yeah, Banned in Modern due to this card was so good that it made it destroyed deck diversity in an entire format.
Yeah, it just being basically went in every green creature deck.
Every single green creature deck played Green Sun Zenith.
Yeah, because why wouldn't you?
Almost every single green deck.
It's
I don't know.
hard to make a green deck without it.
Yeah, it's just so good. The fact that it's just it fits every single spot on the curve. The 1 mana rampant growth is honestly the most broken part of it.
Yeah.
Like, if you take that off, there's turning it into like making it the difference between 1 and 2 mana for a mana growth for a rampant growth is just absurd.
Yes. Being able to do things like give you access to turn 2 Neither Reliquary, or later in the game just turn into a Neither Reliquary.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah, it is an extremely powerful card, and the power level is magnified by the presence of Dryad Arbor.
Mm-hmm.
Part of me thinks that if Dryad Arbor were not legal, this would not be bannable. This would not need to be banned.
That's a very interesting point, but I think I might agree with you.
All right, turn 2 Argothian Enchantress from Andrew. Does this resolve? Kyle does not have a Force of Will.
Step 1.
That's in there. We'll see if Andrew has any enchantments to follow it up.
This was always one of the from a fair deck standpoint, the way that you fight Enchantress typically is you stop their Enchantress effect.
Yeah, you stop their engine from getting online, right?
Yeah, and then if they're not drawing a bunch of extra cards, it's a lot easier to 1-for-1 answer their threats.
Mm-hmm.
But if all of their threats are finding them more threats, it's just too much to keep up with.
So critically, Andrew also played a Caracas that turn, so Kyle's not going to be able to go for anything powerful just yet. He does have Sneak Attack, but it's going to take a little bit of time for him to set up a turn where he can activate it multiple times.
Yeah, to fight through Caracas.
Yes. It'll be very important for him to, if he wants to put Emrakul into play, all he needs to do is get to combat to get that Annihilator trigger and put himself very firmly ahead. But he needs to have multiple red mana to do it. All right, Brainstorm here. We find a second Sneak Attack, a Lotus Petal. He's pretty close. He can get this Grizzlebrand in play, which is not the worst thing in the world. Just drawing 7 cards is pretty solid. But as we saw, Kyle drew 21 extra cards in that first game and still lost. Mm-hmm. Although I think 21 extra cards is still way less than Andrew drew.
Yeah.
Given that he had 4 Enchantress effects going at the time.
It's really all about Emrakul, I think.
Yeah. And Emrakul through Sneak Attack specifically, because Show and Tell is just not going to get the job done in this matchup.
No. Very unlikely.
Yep. All right.
He might have honestly boarded most of them out. Or it might just be a way to get to Sneak Attack for a little cheaper.
Yeah, getting to it sooner is not irrelevant. All right, Andrew going to get to untap with his Argothian Enchantress. Let's see what he can put together. He finds an Enchantress's Presence. Oof. He's a little short on mana. And this is pretty problematic here. He has City of Solitude. He has Sarah's Sanctum, but that doesn't tap for any mana. He has to tap his Caracas if he wants to play one of these enchantments.
Jeez.
And that is making him very vulnerable to a potential attack here.
Yeah.
He's not willing to do it just yet. He's just going to attack Kyle for 1 and pass back.
Very disciplined.
All right, Kyle drawing Cunning Wish? That can't be right. I think it's a Ponder. All right, so this is the spot we talked about. Kyle has 4 mana and 2 red mana, so he will be able to connect with a creature. Taking 2 right here, and this is a sneak attack. This is basically worst possible for Andrew. So red mana, activate, put in Emrakul.
Yeah, he has to make him. So Bowman's forced into a spot where he has to do it before Houtman can declare the attack.
Yes.
Because if he declares the attack, he gets to put the Emrakul trigger on the stack.
The Annihilator trigger.
Or Annihilator trigger.
All right.
Still, before declaring attacks, though, Houtman can instant speed put the Emrakul in with his extra red mana, beating Caracas. Yep.
All those permanents are dead, and now Andrew's at 5. This is another way that the deck beats Caracas in general.
Yeah, overpowering it.
And now, end step, sneak attack trigger, shuffle everything back in, and Andrew's got to start from nothing, and I don't think he has any lands in his hand.
Yeah, I mean, Houtman is forced to find a creature again, but from this spot, he's so heavily advantaged. Ahead on lands, has half of his combo already in play. I don't think he has another creature. No, he has Grizzlebrand in hand, so it's just next turn.
Yeah. Andrew does have Humility, too. Kyle shows him the Grizzlebrand, and that's it. Sneak and Show going to 3-0 here tonight, showing its power.
I think Kyle Houtman showing that he's maybe our best legacy player in the shop.
He's the only one who can. He shows up with this deck the most, and almost never does poorly with it. Kyle's excellent with this deck in particular. He, as he would say himself, he knows what he's good at, and he is definitely good at playing this deck.
He's also been. I mean, he went 12-3 at GP Seattle, which was Legacy. Also went 12-3 at GP Detroit, which was Modern.
Yeah.
With Kiki Cord.
Yeah.
Real dark horse for that format.
I didn't expect him to be playing that, but yeah, he went 12-3. It was really, really good. Very good showing from him.
Yeah, I mean, he's had a great year.
Yes.
I think he just is waiting on a breakthrough in terms of, like a top 8 or
I mean, both of those were 1 win away.
Yeah.
It was very, very close. All right, want me to head out there and see if we have another match going? All right, don't be disgusting and eat on camera.
All right, no problem. Everyone, do you want to watch me eat Phil's food? I'm not going to do it. It's okay. Don't worry. So let's see. Should we pull up some spoilers? There were some more cards spoiled today, but it was mostly commons. I'm not actually sure how many more rares are going to get spoiled. We can maybe talk about some of the more interesting cards from today. Let's see. If anyone has any requests for new cards that were spoiled, they feel like have potential in whatever format. Let's see. We already talked about the Gitrog monsters. Let's not go back to that. Ooh. Let's talk about this card. Hanweir Militia Captain. So 1 and a white for a 2/2 human, and you transform it if you control 4 or more creatures on your upkeep. And I believe this is also the card template where it's an intervening if clause. If there are any judges and you can contradict me, by all means, do that now. But I believe you can, on your upkeep, I think this just triggers, and you can respond with something like Secure the Wastes to make your guy flip. Cook the Fourth, have a great night. Mr. Snuff Flupicus. No, we do not have donations set up. The best thing you could donate to us is following our stream. Or if you ever go to a GP and see MTGCardmarket, yeah, if you want to tell them that you like our stream, that also goes a long way. Or you can just tell them that you like, like me or Phil in particular, like which one of the two of us you like more. That would also be useful information. Okay, yeah, Grandfly thinks it should check on resolution. All right, well that's, I think, relevant, somewhat relevant, because this is what it flips into. Pretty badass cult leader, just smashing for a ton of damage, and also cranking out more humans that you can later sacrifice to the card that I'm maybe the most excited about. Ooh. Mike's Gordon's. That sounds awesome. I'm glad whenever anyone has a good interaction with this store, which has personally done a lot for me. I'm very grateful.
3 game 3s.
Okay.
That are all already playing.
Let's just talk about spoilers.
Yeah. I like spoilers.
Let's talk about Westvale Abbey.
Oh, yes. Abby something.
What?
Abby something?
What Abbey something? Westvale Abbey. Ow! What are you doing? Knocking my elbow.
Oh my god.
What?
Nothing.
It's getting there.
Yeah, it was. Westvale Abbey. This is a very good card. This is a card that I initially looked at and thought it would not be good enough, but...
Then you remembered that Secure the Waste is a card?
No, I thought about Secure the Waste. I thought Secure the Waste was the only way to make this card good.
Okay.
But the more I thought about it, two things. One, I didn't read the second ability at first.
Yeah.
I didn't see that on there at all. I thought it was just the last ability.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's like a kind of a crappy Kjaldren outpost is very legitimate. Like that's... You are paying effectively 6 mana and a life for a 1/1. That is like...
It's a lot.
That's a lot of mana. It's a lot of investment. But...
It'll come up sometimes. It's
on a land!
Yeah.
Abilities on lands are really good.
Yeah.
Like, Foundry of the Councils is basically the same thing for flyers. You get better creatures, but it's not repeatable.
Yes.
Not in the same way.
Yeah.
And, like, this ultimate, where it turns into a... Let's just scroll over. This beast...
Yeah.
Ormondal Profane Prince.
Has to be bounced, sacrificed, or exiled if you want to deal with it.
When he says sacrifice, he means edicted.
Yeah.
Something like To the Slaughter or Faltung Invocation. But without Crackling Doom in the format, those are the only edicts in the format.
This is great art, both sides. This card is so cool.
Ormondal Profane Prince. Someone made the point that it seems like every random object in Innistrad has either a demon, or it's cursed, or there's a ghost living in it. Like, you could pick up anything, and you might get attacked by it later on.
Every door has an uninvited geist on the other side of it.
Uninvited geist. But yeah, this card is big. The flying is pretty important here.
Oh, it seems super important. If it had trample, it would just be insane.
It would not be interesting if it had trample. I mean,
the lifelink alone is insane.
I'm glad it has indestructible over hexproof.
Yeah, that's nice.
Like,
at least there are some answers to it.
Yeah, I mean, look, you can't Wrath it away.
No, but you can Reflector Mage it.
You can Reflector Mage it. You can the 6 mana Wrath, the Final Judgment,
or like Declaration in Stone, Stasis Snare,
Anguished Unmaking.
Even what's it called? Silkrap does it.
Reality. Oh no, Reality Shift. I think might be rotating. That might have been from Fate Reforged. Okay. It was a Manifest card. Never mind. It is. What was the other one you said?
Silkrap.
Oh yeah, Silk. You can Silk Wrap.
Right.
Stasis Snare.
Yeah.
You can bounce it with the Zombie Bounce.
Yeah.
I don't remember what that's called.
2
mana, bounce target non-land permanent. If you control a zombie, that player discards a card.
The compelling deterrence.
Yeah, that permanent's owner, right?
Yeah, if you bounce your own thing, you have to discard a card.
Wow, that's kind of...
I mean, it could be good in that deck.
Same as Recoil.
Yeah.
Recoil makes you discard that card no matter what.
The only difference there is you can't bounce a land with compelling deterrence, but you can with Recoil.
You also don't always discard a card.
That's true. But it is one less mana, which is
Recoil.
very relevant.
Recoil doesn't mess around, man. That's a great teachings target in Pauper. I've played as many as 2. Anyways,
It's also very playable in Standard in its day.
yeah. But like the comparisons to this card are pretty interesting. It's like Tomb of Urami, Dark Depths, and Grove of the Guardian. I think, which are all along a large spectrum. Those 3 specifically because they're lands that make a big creature. Mm-hmm. But I think it's closer to Urza's Factory.
Okay.
Urza's Factory, for those wondering, is a colorless land taps for colorless and 7 tap, make a 2/2 assembly worker.
The ultimate, though, on Urza's Factory is not game winning by itself.
There's no ultimate. That's just it. That's the only ability.
It just makes 2/2s, right?
Yes.
Yeah, this makes a freaking 9/7
Eventually,
indestructible flyer.
yeah. No, I'm saying that ability is going to loom. A lot of times, you're going to play this card, and that ability's not going to come up. Like, you're going to play it, and, like, you might make a 1/1. More often than not, you won't. But, like, the potential to make this 9/7 is very significant.
Yeah, I think it's probably going to lead to people, like, having to kill your tokens, you know?
Either kill your tokens, or, like, you know, what's a Planar Outburst going to do? What's a Languish going to do? Like, if your opponent is put in a position where they need to top deck an answer to your board, and you just pass with 5 mana up in this,
Yeah.
what do? They just go, like, Planar, they like finally draw the Wrath to kill all your guys.
Yeah.
Before they die, and then you just sack all of them and make an indestructible creature.
It seems like extremely potent to be able to play that sort of flash game between specifically
Archangel Avacyn,
Secure the Wastes, and Avacyn.
Yeah.
Like, they are 2 very different threats. One feeds into the Abbey.
Yes.
One does not, but it saves out your whole board and is like way more of a threat by itself.
Is it just me, or every time I read, or does every time you read Archangel Avacyn, it looks like it just gains more abilities?
It has a lot of stuff.
It has so many abilities. Why does it have so many abilities?
I don't know how it's going to play out with the flipping. Like, when you're going to want to do it, when you're going to be able to control when it happens. Like, if you have to, like, warp your deck so, like, flipping it doesn't kill all your own stuff. Like,
I really don't know.
I don't know either.
Frankly, it's far and away the most exciting card in the set for me.
Yeah.
I think it's the most powerful card outright. The other thing, like, other competing options are probably, like, Arlen Cord and Sorin. I think Sorin is extreme. I think Sorin is extremely, and this card. Yeah, this card is like,
or maybe the land that you can play from your graveyard.
I think that's much more of a role player.
Yeah,
but I think it will be
contextually powerful.
Yes, and I think it'll be a significant role player in that regard, especially in Madness decks.
Or just like Jace control decks, because like
just rebuying a land late is just a really good way to use your mana.
Yeah, if you're a counterspell deck and you're just playing at instant speed, you can just return that thing later on in the game, and it's just ramp. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think that card will see a significant amount of play. We're in a really interesting spot right now where you have a lot of lands to choose from. And unlike before, where I think you were sort of, because of the way the mana worked out so well in Khan's Battle Standard.
The only utility lands that were getting played were man lands. Because they were dual lands.
For the most part. Like,
except in the Eldrazi deck.
Like, yeah, like the Eldrazi deck got to play like Foundry of the Councils, Tomb of the Spirit Dragon.
That was like the special land deck.
Yeah. Ramp sometimes got to play like a Spawning Bed or something like that.
Yeah. So many decks were 4-color.
Yeah.
Those was all fetches.
The only one I really saw, like, I think the one that saw the most play was probably Foundry of the Councils.
Yeah.
With not much. Blighted Fen. I would see Blighted Fen.
Sure.
The black-white control deck that Jeff Hoagland played for a while had like 2 or 3 Blighted Fen in it.
Okay.
Blighted Fen, I think, just probably the most powerful of the Blighted lands.
The blue one's good.
The blue one's the most expensive, though. True. I played it, and it wasn't very good. The green one, I think, saw some play as well, Blighted Woodland.
Okay.
Either in Ramp, as when they were playing Sylvan Scrying, just as another, you get to effectively Sylvan Scrying for a Rampant Growth.
Yeah.
Or turn Sylvan Scrying into a future Rampant Growth.
Mm-hmm.
Or in the, I remember Sam Black's Tokens deck played the Blighted Woodland. I'm kind of sad that deck is probably dead with the rotation of fetch lands. You just can't really play these exclusively token-based strategies without the engine of Retreat to Emeria and fetch lands.
Mm-hmm. Studatnu, we are waiting to start our next round shortly.
Yeah, we had a couple of people going into Game 3. There was a Burn versus Lands.
Yes.
There was... Let's see if I can go over these.
We will be going into round 3, right?
4.
4. Wow. Flying by.
Yeah, we've flown by. There was Game 3 of Merfolk versus Shardless Bug. Both players playing for 3-0, by the way. And Game 3 of... Ooh, what was the last one? Oh, Stoneblade versus Shardless as well. Okay. Tone versus Brandon.
Yeah. Elkram makes a interesting point that, like, you can also just play Westvale Abbey and just, like, a heavy creature deck. Like, if there's, like, a white weenie deck, it's possible that you just play this because, like, there might be some matchups where the board gets clogged and Abbey just represents a way to completely get around a board stall. Like, maybe if you were playing against, like, a Death Mist Raptor deck, where they're very good at clogging the ground.
Yeah, just playing a bunch of green creatures and raptors and morphs and all that sort of business. Stuff where they can profitably... Basically just Death Mist Raptors.
Yeah, they're just bigger... Like, you force through some early damage because you maybe are lower to the ground because you're a faster white deck. But then, you know, if the board gets stalled out, it's a way to just cash in what you had for something that's very different from the rest of what you're doing. Yeah. And potentially, like, there's no answer, or in theory.
Maybe a mirror.
Yeah.
Like the mirror. I mean, like an Archangel of Tithes mirror.
It's a lot. Yeah, I mean, God. I should test that.
Probably. I would recommend playing blue cards in it, though. I would recommend playing blue card, singular, in it.
Reflector Mage.
Correct.
Also, it would be nice to have something like Negate post-sideboard against decks with sweepers.
Or Dispel. For Coco.
For Kozilek's return?
For Coco.
Coco? Oh, you think Coco's going to be big still?
Prepare for it, all right?
All right.
If anyone thinks that no one's going to play Collected Company at the Pro Tour, let Greg know.
Also, if someone has a good Collected Company deck, please tell me what it is.
So he can jam it no matter what.
Yeah.
I don't know how many. There are a lot of 2-1s with Flash legal right now.
Yeah.
There's 2.
Okay.
One's an Eldrazi, one's a Spirit. I mean, you could play like Mono Vaporkin deck. You'll never beat a Minister of Pain, but a lot of things to look forward to.
Yeah, TX Rager. Yeah, Westvale Abbey does. I mean, it probably can slot into like most 2-color decks in some capacity. I think you only would bother playing it if you had a reasonable way to get the ultimate. Like, I don't.
Yep.
I think if you were just looking to get the 1/1s, I think there are better utility lands you could go for.
Yeah. I mean, I think Hangerback Walker is set to see a bit of a resurgence in play, which as a response we'll see some, enchantment. I think like removal that's good against Hangerback Walker will be like pretty common stuff like Silk Wrap.
Yeah, I mean Silk Wrap, Declaration Stone, Stasis Snare, Reflector Mage.
Yep, all those cards. But like I think that Hangerback Walker is certainly in line to see some more play.
Yeah, more so. I mean, if there's a lot of Reflector Mage,
I just don't think there's going to be as much Reflector Mage.
It seems like it's very unlikely because like last season it turned into like Rally was playing it, Bant Company was playing it, Abzan Blue was playing it. Yep. Like so many different colors could.
Jeskai Black
could get blue-white.
Jeskai Black was playing it.
But now to get blue-white, you maybe can have a third color.
Yeah, like
maybe
figuring out what these the first person to crack a 3-color mana base.
Yeah, that'll be a huge advantage.
That will change the format. That'll be the most important thing going forward in Standard. Is how you build a 4-color mana base. Or even if someone can... 3 colors, excuse me. Well, if you get to 4 colors, then congratulations.
To you.
You broke it. Seems exceedingly difficult to do.
Maybe with like 30 lands. Maybe more.
I think you can do it. I don't think it's likely. Traverse the Ulvenwald. Ulvenwald is a way.
What's that? Is it a way to get a bunch of different colors?
No, it's the green. It's the search for a land. Or you can play the new Primeval Titan.
Are you using that name a little bit facetiously?
Hey, Paulo called it that, not me. Traverse the Ulvenwald. I like this card. I think this card is better than people realize.
Search your deck for a basic land card, reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle your library. If there are 4 or more card types in your graveyard, instead search your library for a creature or land. Okay. So it's a cantrip, draw a land. Draw exactly the land you want.
Yes. Well, no, it's Caravan Vigil, or whatever, Lay the Land, for like the first few turns of the game.
Yeah.
It immediately puts a sorcery in your graveyard. Assuming you're already playing Evolving Wilds, that's 2 types. Most decks, like, I think getting 3 types will be pretty straightforward for the most part.
Yeah.
Like, this creature and maybe instant. Getting that 4th type is pretty tricky in Standard without, like, a Thought Scour effect or anything like that.
In late game it can happen.
But if you're playing Jace in your deck, this helps a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, once you're able to just start turning this into 1 mana, find a creature.
Yeah.
Start getting good things.
Maybe you could play this with the Gitrog monster.
The Gitrog monster.
Right? I mean, late game, it just finds the Gitrog monster.
Yes!
And early, even if you don't have Delirium, it finds a land that you can feed to the Gitrog monster.
I gotta say, the Gitrog monster is pretty hungry.
Is probably the best form of raw card advantage in the format.
Probably.
Probably.
I think Dragonlord's Prerogative, I think Painful Truths beats it out a little bit.
You gotta get 3 colors.
I like the idea of playing this in a Jund deck.
Jund.
Yes.
Okay.
Like, I think this will, because you have the Death Cap Cultivator.
Okay.
Is it Death Cap?
What do you need red for? Just more removal?
Atarka.
Oh, so like big Jund.
Eventually. I
Yeah.
mean, this gets a land and then later it gets a Turk.
Yeah. Gitrog monster makes you sacrifice lands though.
So Atarka is bigger than Gitrog.
I'm thinking more about
the Gitrog monster. Feed the Gitrog monster.
Hey, that's more card advantage.
I mean, Oath of Nissa, yeah. Red is also for Chandra.
Okay.
And you could also play Arlen Cord in this deck.
Yeah. I guess you kind of have a choice, because you also could go at Abzan for Sorin.
You could just play...
Like splash white instead of red.
You could just play them in the same deck.
Yeah. 4-color ramp planeswalker.
4-color
control.
traverse!
Yeah.
I'm already tempted. I'm going to put this deck together.
Yeah.
You're going to hate it.
I mean, this is really not my kind of deck, but it sounds kind of sweet.
4 Catacomb Sifter. Does that not immediately get you interested?
It's like the closest thing that's gonna be like of the Venn diagrams of what I like. Catacomb Sifter's about the beginning and end of it. And actually, sorry, Sifter and Gitrog monster.
Just the Gitrog monster.
I like creatures.
Look, okay, here we go. Turn 5, Gitrog monster. Play Evolving Wilds, crack it, draw a card. Go.
Turn 6. Oh, because
no, play an extra land.
Okay. Oh God, that's really good.
Yeah. So you untap. Obviously, they can't kill Gitrog monster. No one can kill it.
It's way too big.
You sack a land. That's fine. You draw a card.
Yeah.
You untap. You play a land. Mm-hmm. You play Chandra. You minus and you kill everything.
Yeah.
Attack for 6.
Sounds good.
The Gitrog monster fits perfectly into this shell.
What if you just had a green-black deck? Like no 3rd color? And played like the Megamorph package. You could play Sylvan Advocate.
Yeah. You could play Hissing Quagmire.
Like you have black removal.
It's there. I mean, the stuff is there.
Yeah.
You could play Oath of Nissa, or you don't even need it.
The format's so wide open. Like restricting the point that like restricting mana in decks to like 2 colors. It does seem like it makes more cards playable.
Yeah, because you need to go deeper.
Yeah, you need to dip into that second tier of constructed playable.
Yeah, like that's the big difference there is, when you're playing when you can play all your colors, you just play
all the best cards.
Every multicolored card and all that sort of business.
Yeah.
But you get a different format otherwise. All right, so our undefeated players are Kyle and David. I think we don't need to watch that one.
No, they're probably just drawing.
Let's see. Greg and Zinni are playing.
Oh yeah,
We
that
could
sounds
watch
pretty
that.
good. What are the records? Not good.
1-2.
Oh no.
1-1-1.
No.
No?
We can watch. I was gonna say John Loudis and Nathan, but nah. We could just watch Tony.
Wait, is Ian playing Eldrazi?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
We could just watch. That's the first time
We've
we can
never
watch
seen
Eldrazi.
Eldrazi.
Let's put Ian and Brandon on. Who do you think's favored?
Eldrazi versus Jeskai Stoneblade.
I think Jessica's favored.
Kind of depends on like the config. I don't know.
I think it depends on the.
No.
I think it depends on the draw a little bit.
But yeah.
Like
Probably a lot.
Specifically, I think it depends like if a lock piece happens early.
Yeah, if there's like early Chalice turning off Plow, then I think Brandon can get run over.
And or early Thorn of Amethyst shutting off so much stuff, just making everything infinitely expensive.
I wonder what version of Eldrazi it is, because if it's white with Displacer, that helps a lot against Batterskull.
I've only seen colorless versions.
Okay. I saw some. I think it was BBD posted a mono white list.
Interesting.
That had Displacer, which seems kind of sweet in Legacy.
Displacer is just a messed up card.
Because you think Displacer solves a bunch of problems that the deck has. Like, the deck, even in Modern, kind of soft to Batterskull.
Mm-hmm.
Completely gets rid of that problem.
Yeah.
Also, very good against Emrakul.
Tap it!
I mean, right? It seems really good there. I mean, it's kind of slow, I suppose.
Yeah, it is slow, and I think that's a legitimate thing, and it also messes up your mana real bad.
Okay.
Maybe it doesn't mess up your mana, but it makes it not as smooth.
Lets you play Caracas. Gives you an excuse to play Caracas.
Great. I was already in the colorless version, so it doesn't change much.
Oh, fair.
Alright, we're going to hop down. Players are not even there yet.
I mean, you can also... Because this deck also plays Cavern, right?
Yes. Play at least some number of Cavern of Souls.
Like, probably a lot. Like, that's a bunch of white mana sources. I don't know. Seems good. If I were inclined to play Eldrazi in Legacy, that's probably the direction I would go in.
Eldrazi's a really good deck, I think.
It's hard to tell. There haven't been many events.
No, I think the tournament will really see it will be
Columbus.
Grand Prix Columbus.
Yeah. Which I'm unfortunately not going to go to. I have to go to the Cure concert in Chicago.
Why do you have to do that?
Marianne's family's really into it.
Wait, what? I don't understand. Do you know who's not that good?
Yeah, I've seen them with them before. Yeah, they're not the best.
Also old, like just like been around forever.
I understand. I understand.
Sorry, we don't mean to hate on classic alt rock band The Cure, but
I do like a lot of their music.
In general, they don't do much for me.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
Like a less exciting Radiohead.
That's a really weird comparison.
Right? A little bit. What about like a less emotionally compelling Oasis? Just a worse Oasis?
What?
Maybe not. All right.
Phil should restrict his music talk to rap.
I mean, that's what I really know, but
exactly.
It's way more funny when I go about
when
it
you
the other
try.
way. I just like throw out comparisons until I get one right.
Yeah. Like I could try to talk about rap.
That wouldn't work out.
It would not. Just like you talking about The Cure wasn't really.
Oh no, I nailed it. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Let's pull up a card that will probably not be super important in this matchup, although it kills Stoneforge Mystic.
It does.
This is going to be the final round of the night, likely the final match that we will watch today.
So Eldrazi, do they usually play Warping Well main?
Yeah.
Like one or two?
A couple, copies? And then like can board up to 4.
Okay.
Which is, let me tell you, my nightmare.
Seems pretty good against Storm.
And elves!
Yeah. Yeah, you really do like powerful sorceries.
I love sorceries. I've gotten enveloped so many times. Yeah, Ian going to be on the right here playing the Eldrazi menace that has infiltrated this our oldest format.
Yeah.
I guess it's not maybe it's not the oldest format. Type 1.5 here.
Our oldest competitive format?
I get calling Grix vintage a super competitive format is probably just a little loose. All right. Brandon's 6 looks much better. He's got a Force of Will. He's got a Swords to Plowshares. What's to be upset about? He has a couple lands. He's right at the top. Ancient Tomb. Thorn of Amethyst. Does this resolve? This is test number 1. I like that Ian had it ready, and yeah, Brandon's just like, yep, it's in there.
Seems really good.
All right. Brandon does have a land, so he can force this turn. Oh, and there's a Cavern. Jesus.
Yeah, he could Cavern out in 3/3 Endless One. He could Cavern... What else does he have? Looks like he has a Thought-Knot Seer. I don't know if he has another Soul land
Yeah, it depends what the other land is in Ian's hand besides this Cavern of Souls. Here's Cavern of Souls naming Eldrazi.
We presume.
I'm going to comfortably call Eldrazi here.
Yeah.
And we got an uncounterable 3/3 endless one.
Watch Wolf.
This isn't that broken. Look at this. Watch Wolf. Not a powerful card at all.
No.
True Name Nemesis is extremely good against the Eldrazi deck. I will say that much. And Brandon does have it in hand. Ian has another Cavern of Souls in his yard. Ooh, I think it's going to get Thought Knotted. There's also a Reality Smasher. Reality Smasher is also quite good against a 3/1. Even if it has pro everything.
Mm-hmm.
Or close, the analogous pro everything. Alright, Brandon fetching up a basic Plains here. Do we have a Stoneforge Mystic? Or do we have a Swords to Plowshares? Swords to Plowshares for 2 mana.
Jeez.
Ian gaining 3 life off here. That's just more active. That's just more taps of that Ancient Tomb. Alright, let's see what Ian's follow-up is going to be.
Probably Thought Knot Seer.
If it's available, I can't imagine he plays anything else. He's got Matter Reshaper in his hand. There's an Eldrazi Temple.
So he could Reality Smasher this turn.
That seems...
If he has it.
He does. That seems
It's,
pretty good.
It's a big hit. He does play it. Maybe he's considering whether or not there's anything he needs to Thought Knot.
I think he is going to Thought Knot.
He has pulled it to the front. So yeah, being sure to use mana from Cavern, although Force of Will cannot have been cast because of the Thorn anyway.
I think Brandon's about to ask a question about can he Force of Will this? And the answer, I think he's letting him know that he tapped it for color mana.
Yeah.
As long as the Cavern was tapped for non-colorless mana, then this Thought Knot Seer is uncounterable. But as Greg said, it doesn't matter because of the Thorn.
Yeah, it's both the Cavern and the Thorn are preventing Force of Will. And I imagine that we are going to see True Name Nemesis be taken.
Yeah, I don't think any of these... Yeah, I think he was just asking
Yeah, he just realized about the Thorn, I think.
Yeah. I don't think any of these cards are particularly relevant outside of the True Name.
Doesn't seem like it.
Let's see what Ian decides to take here. I mean, given that he has Cavern, Force of Will, and Counterspell aren't too scary. Ponder helps him hit his next land, but it costs 2 mana. Yeah, and he's just going to take the True Name Nemesis, which will be exiled.
Mm-hmm.
And because Brandon used that Swords, he no longer has an answer to this Thought Knot Seer. Draws to the turn. Spell Pierce. Probably the worst draw in his deck.
One of the worst, yeah. Ponder.
Batterskull's maybe worse.
2 mana Ponder. So this means that Brandon's getting hit for 9.
For what it's, I think back to the beginning of this game, I think Brandon should have just Force Willed that this Thorn of Amethyst. I think there are just too many things that it just taxes his mana so hard.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because missing land drops is obviously complicating this quite a bit, but I think either scenario is really really rough for him.
Agreed.
All right, Brandon shuffling off of Ponder, drawing a random card. We hit a Scalding Tarn. All right, not out of it yet. Passes back to Ian, and I think we're going to see some realities get smashed here. Second Cavern as well. Ian's got options for days. I think he's just going to stick to just another Eldrazi Temple.
Yeah, this way
So
it doesn't
much
take
mana.
damage.
Indicating that this Reality Smasher is uncounterable. Take 9.
Oh yeah.
Put you to 10. Go.
If anyone hadn't seen this in Legacy yet,
This is it.
this looks good.
This looks real annoying. And that's it. Brandon packing that in. We're going to go to game 2 here.
I wonder what Ian lost to. I wonder if it was Houtman or Bowman.
It might have been. I know he did not. Let's see. He lost his first round.
Okay, so
I
it
know
could have been anyone.
I know he beat Nick, who's playing Storm, and as I've said, I this is a nightmare matchup. So like,
For Storm.
oh yeah. So like mud decks are like kind of scary when you're on the Storm side because of all the hate like the hate rocks, the hateful permanents.
Yeah, but the clock is slow.
Yeah, this is the same thing, but they just kill you on turn 5.
Yeah.
On turn 4, maybe.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that they're the Thoughtseize is a 4/4, you know, like stuff like that. Like, it's just so hard to do this, and like the fact that their Thoughtseize comes with a 4/4, and then oh my god, look at all the Trinispheres in the sideboard.
Yeah.
Like the Thorns, the Chalices, every non-creature spell in their deck is unbelievably good against Storm.
Yep.
And Warping Will, like God, what a nightmare.
I wonder what cards are coming in for Ian.
It looks like he's bringing in just those Trinispheres.
Trinisphere is an interesting one here.
Yeah,
It's fine.
It's fine. I mean,
Unexciting, right? Kind of.
you can turn 1 it with a Spirit Guide.
You
You
could.
turn 1 it, you probably win the game.
Probably.
A lot of Brandon's good cards do cost 3, though. Like, his best card against
Like-
Ian does cost 3.
True name, yeah.
But his deck is, 1-drops and Force of Will, so I can see Trinisphere being fine. I think it's worse than all the rest of the rocks in his deck, though. The hateful permanents.
Agreed. Because it's just so less likely to happen on turn 1.
I think the only card Ian is excited to sideboard out is Matter Reshaper.
Yeah, that
Think-
one seems a little underwhelming.
I think you pretty much try your best to sideboard that card out against white decks.
Or as always.
It's good. It's fine against Shardless Bug.
Sure.
Something like that. Like I'm saying, like Abrupt Decay matchups in general, where you can guarantee your card.
Sure.
But any matchup where you're just going to play a 3/2 that gets swords, I don't think that's very exciting.
No, it's not.
Looks like Ian is.
Or like Terminist. That would also be bad.
Yes. Yeah. It looks like Ian's boarding out all of his Matter Reshapers and some of his Endless ones.
Huh. I guess those are the worst creatures.
I'm a little surprised by that. I like Endless One.
Endless one is pretty insane.
Winter Orb. Winter Orb. That's a powerful card. Let's pull up Winter Orb.
Yeah. Winter Orb, I think I would be a little more inclined to bring in against slower decks than Brandon's.
Yeah, Brandon's deck's not that fast.
It's not fast, but it's like, maybe it's fine here.
It's fine against Stoneforge Mystic
It seems a lot better than Trinisphere.
Yes, I'm not in love with Trinisphere because I think if you're boarding in Trinisphere and not boarding out either Chalice or Thorn, then I think you very much run the risk of just drawing those and your opponent like ignoring them and just doing their thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Winter Orb is definitely a card that I would describe as a friend killer.
Why do you say that?
No one likes playing against Winter Orb.
Card's pretty sweet.
I'm just saying, like
Rug Delver sideboards.
Ooh, yeah, very powerful.
Is Rug Delver any good anymore, or are the other flavors of Delver just better? Is Grixis just better?
I think Grixis is better.
Just strictly. Like, which is better against like Eldrazi?
Grixis.
Yeah.
Baleful Strix in the sideboard is a big deal.
Okay.
That's why Noah played a couple in his sideboard when he won the SCG Open.
Yeah.
Was for that matchup.
Okay.
All right, Brandon just with a Volcanic Island and a pass, holding up Spell Pierce this turn. Ooh, turn 1 City of Traders can't feel too great.
No.
This is Thorn, and Brandon is certainly going to Spell Pierce this.
And this also.
Ian about to throw his land in the yard. It's like, no, that stays there.
Next turn, he'll throw it in the yard.
Probably. Brandon playing Flooded Strand for the turn. Do we have a 2-drop? Nope, just a pass.
Here we might be seeing the other side of the Eldrazi deck of it not being super consistent.
Oh, I think he's going to jam
Trinisphere?
Ooh. Winter Orb. Would you like to read it? Players cannot untap more than one land during their untap phase.
Fortunately, we already had that pulled up.
Had it. Second Spell Pierce. Get that out of here. Let's see if Ian bites the bullet and plays a land or not. If he plays Wasteland, that's just so upsetting. He's just going to pass back. I think he's just going to try and jam Trinisphere next turn, using the Wasteland for mana.
Jeez.
Ooh, I think Brandon has True Name in his hand. This has got to be the spot where you jam it, right? No, he's just going to pass back. Ian does draw a non-Wasteland land, which is pretty important. Wasteland land.
Wasteland land.
Sorry, Wasteland land. Stop that. I can stop.
Mm-hmm.
Is this the turn he jams Trinisphere?
It's possible. See, people are saying that Goyf is good against Eldrazi.
Makes sense. It's big.
Yeah.
How do they kill it?
So, I mean, then is Rug fine? I don't know.
Ooh.
Maybe not.
Float 2, play Ayavugan, Thought Not Seer.
That seems good.
I think this is a brainstorm in response for Brandon. Hiding this Tree Name Nemesis is pretty critical here. There's also a Swords to Plowshares. I mean, he has double Tree Name? Jeez, okay. Maybe he like, what do you even hide? You put, like, swords and anything on top, and you just swords it during your next turn and draw your card? Or do you force will it? This is a tough spot.
It is.
I'm not sure what the correct play is here. All right, Brandon putting 2 back. Does he let it resolve?
No, he's forcing.
I think forcing this is extremely defensible. Like,
Forge pitching the True Name.
I think it's his second True Name.
Okay.
Brandon right now with swords and a land in his hand. Draws. There's that other True Name.
Yeah, he had hid the second one on the top of his deck.
The other card below it, though, is that Batterskull. So if he wants to draw Batterskull, he can't cast True Name this turn because his third mana would be a fetch land.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of an awkward spot because I think Brandon didn't want that Batterskull, but he is going to fetch it away. Shuffle it away, excuse me. He could have avoided this by keeping a land instead.
Yeah.
But maybe it just doesn't matter that much. Like, True Name being in play is super important. It's good against everything in Ian's deck. That's maybe one reason to sideboard out Endless One, by the way.
Sure.
Is True Name Nemesis. But it's good against everything except Reality Smasher.
Yeah, Reality Smasher, I mean, probably the objectively most powerful creature in the deck.
That or Thought Not Seer,
Yeah, it's those two, I suppose. Very different cards, but it just hits so freaking hard. Having Trample is so insane.
Yep.
Smasher.
All right, so Ian drawing. He's got a million cards in hand versus Brandon's 1. So let's see if he can make a fight of this one. The Trinisphere, not looking great right now. I will say that much. There's another Soul Land. We have another Thought Not Seer. We have an Endless One for 4. And here we're seeing exactly the worst side to Endless One. Just going to get blocked forever by this True Name Nemesis. Brandon doesn't even have to kill it. Just draws a Tundra. Really not much going on his side. He's just going to pass it back. Ian untaps.
Yeah, I mean, these creatures just look at each other. Brandon doesn't really want to trade damage that plays too much into potential Reality Smashers, which I think Ian has in hand. At least one.
Yeah, being able to discard this land to a Reality Smasher is very important.
Yeah.
Ian drawing the always present second Diavugan.
Here's Reality Smasher. And Brandon gonna have to eat the 2-for-1 here.
I think that's fine. You don't really need that land. He's gonna Swords Reality Smasher. Trigger discard.
All right, so maybe.
No, I think he's got it anyways. It's gonna gain Ian 5 life here as that Reality Smasher gets exiled.
Pretty fortunate that Brandon didn't play the land.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there wasn't much reason to play it anyway, but
I think it was intentional.
yeah.
Yeah. All right, Brandon's drawing his card, passing it back. Ian, doesn't have much going on. There's another Endless One. You can make this one real big.
I mean, that works. Once he has 2 attackers, I mean, the race is on.
I mean, dealing 4 a turn is nothing. It's not nothing. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is a 6/6 Endless One that's uncounterable. Yeah, it's not bad. There's another Swords to Plowshares in Brandon's hand. I don't even think he needs to cast it now. You can just wait. You might see him fire it off on Ian's end step, though. Yeah, and he is just going to Swords the 6/6.
Yeah, he was gonna have to do it anyway.
Possibly
if he drew Jitte, he would really be kicking himself.
Yes, Jitte is like the draw that punishes him the most for this. Or for not doing that. Looks like Ian just drew Eldrazi Mimic.
It's a okay one to get into play.
Yeah, he has Mimic, Ayavugan, and Trinisphere. And Brandon just with a Spell Snare in his hand. Oh my god, so he's going to Spell Snare this Mimic? He can't pay for it with Cavern.
Mm-hmm.
Because it costs 0 mana. Nice Ayavugan. That's really funny, actually.
Can you, like...
No, there's no way to get around it. It costs 0.
If he played Trinisphere first.
Yes. You would have to... Yes, that's how you do it.
No, he's just going to play for free.
Ooh. Brandon is going to Spell Snare it. Gotcha. Get out of here. Ian taking 2. Going to 23 here and playing the Trinisphere. I mean, this is, a reasonable tax here, especially with the Wasteland. I think Wastelanding here is very good. Like, once the Trinisphere is in play. I mean, like, Brandon, you only want Brandon to cast 1 spell a turn. That's already like this, but this makes any future Wastelands very good.
Yeah.
Assuming Brandon will have to fetch to cast any spell.
Draws Ponder. Costs
No,
3.
No.
Costs 3.
There we go.
Has to fetch. Little loosey-goosey.
Brandon fetching down to 17 here. Going to pick up a land so he can cast the Ponder through Trinisphere. I'll pull Trinisphere here. Really hate that foiling.
Indeed.
I like that they modeled it after the old artifacts where it only works if it's untapped. Like a lot of, I think they were called mono artifacts back in the alpha beta age of Magic. Alright, Ponder here. Let's see what other 3-drops we can find. Find Stoneforge Mystic, Meddling Mage, and Wear Tear. Stoneforge Mystic seems great. Wear Tear seems fine. I think of these cards, that's the only other one I would want to draw.
Mm-hmm.
Meddling Mage is not bad for just naming Reality Smasher. Only real card that matters. Ian untaps, draws. Basically anything but Ayavugan he's happy to draw, and it looks like he just drew nothing. Brandon draws that Wear Tear. Let's see what he wants to play this turn.
Imagine he's casting
Stoneforge?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Stoneforge Mystic. Unless Ian has some sort of colorless essence scatter, this is in there. And this has got to go straight for Jitte, I have to imagine.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think Jitte's better. I could see him going for Batterskull there.
Jitte's just the best thing to put on True Name Nemesis.
Yeah.
He is, at this moment, very vulnerable to a Thought-Knot Seer.
Oh, yeah.
Does Ian draw it?
Nope.
Ian did draw. He does have 2 Ayavugans in his hand.
Yeah.
He can play Mox Diamond for 3 mana.
Sounds great. Discard one of those Ayavugans. He might do it. Yep.
Taking 2 in the process. Worth noting that what Brandon did, we're not going to go out there and make him fix it, but Brandon rearranged his graveyard. That is not actually something you can do in Legacy.
Yep.
Graveyard order does matter. There are cards that specifically reference graveyard order.
Not any in Brandon's deck, but yeah, in general.
Yeah, we know for a fact that there are none in his deck, but that is something that should be remembered. I think he just drew another Mox Diamond.
So Ian may be drawing a little below expectancy in this game.
Expectation. Sorry, you just used the right word. Anyways, 3 mana, Mox Diamond, discarding Ayavugan. He's working his way towards activating Ayavugan. It's fine. Alright, there's Jitte. Brandon draws, finds a land. Not too relevant here. Puts Jitte on True Name Nemesis, and I think we're going to see him go to work.
Oh, yeah.
3-point chunks at a time. You could also reasonably move this back over. I don't hate that.
Okay. I mean, I don't think he's blocking, but...
Right. Ian draws Wasteland for the turn. I think Wasteland is more valuable as a land to get towards activating Ayavugan at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon going to 13 here. Brandon plays a land. He could Wear Tear to destroy a Mox Diamond. I think that's actually better than destroying anything else right now.
Yeah, he wants to stop Ivugan activating.
All right, we see an attack for 4, dropping Ian to 12. And
He
this,
has the ability to kill an Endless One whenever, but
I mean, he's also like 1 point off lethal right now.
yeah.
This tree name itself just represents 11 damage. I think we just got Reality Smasher coming in here.
A little late to the party.
A little late. Alright, he's rearranging his mana so that he's holding up Mox Diamond and just attacks with both creatures. This does leave him dead on board. Not holding back a blocker for the Stoneforge Mystic.
Yeah.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Oof. Brandon choosing the safe play of swordsing the Endless One.
Not a huge fan of this play. This,
Unless we have the life totals wrong.
which is always possible. There have been a lot of life total changes here, but I'm going to assume that we might be a little bit off. Counterspell being the card drawn here, not super valuable. 3 damage coming across, dropping Ian to 13. Jitte counter is just piling up. Oh, we missed the 5 damage that went through last turn.
Yeah.
And Brandon's just going to kill the Reality Smasher.
Sure.
Just going to pass it back.
Kill everything.
Ian draws another land for the turn. Just another Ancient Tomb. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He can activate Ivugan, but I think he might just be dead to the oncoming Jitte stuff. Brandon just slams Blood Moon. Right now, Ian just like, what do I do? I think he's just going to be cut off colorless mana.
Yeah. Seems like it.
Activates I, going to 9. Alright.
There's nothing...
I don't know what you even get.
I don't think there's anything he can get that actually helps here, though.
I mean, if he gets Endbringer, he can't cast it. Unless he has a Wastes in his deck, which he has to draw. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what out he has of castable creatures. Might just see a concession here. Ian thinking about this one, though. I mean, like, Thought-Knot Seer, Reality Smasher, and Endbringer are all out of the discussion. It's basically just Endless One, and he might not even have Endless Ones in his deck anymore. I know he's sideboarded out, I think, a couple of them, and he's already drawn 2 this game. I think he just might be out of castable creatures. Yeah, and he's just going to concede.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to game 3 here.
Yeah, looking for a more explosive start. I mean, I think like looking at this Eldrazi deck as a similar vein to Vintage Shops, your opening couple turns have to be very powerful, very dominant to really...
Like, either disruptive or fast, preferably both.
Yeah.
And when you're neither, then you're just not going to be favored to win any games.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. Going to see game 3 here. It looks like Ian is changing up how he's sideboarding. I wonder if he's going to reconsider these Trinispheres.
I don't think Transfer is good here.
I don't think so either. I'm not a huge fan of it.
It seems like you need the pressure.
I think creatures are more important than Trinisphere. Like, as I said, I just don't want to overload on these kind of rocks.
Yeah.
Especially if my opponent can just attrition me out.
Looks like there's a Jitte in Ian's sideboard. That seems pretty okay here.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I
mean, I guess
I don't love it.
All the true names maybe make it look pretty bad.
Yep. I think Jitte's average.
Endless One seems good, though. It's
I like Endless
one
One.
of the things that you can actually make big enough that... Because, like, it seems like that situation of Brandon just, like, holding the fort for the time being with a true name is, like, not going to be uncommon.
Mm-hmm.
So just getting multiple creatures that are big enough to attack into it seems, like, pretty relevant.
I also think it's important to have a creature you can always cast through Blood Moon.
Fair.
Now that you've seen the Blood Moon in his deck.
Yeah.
That also might have been something that Ian changed, like maybe, I don't know. I actually don't even know if they have answers to Blood Moon.
In colorless? I don't...
Once
Ratchet
it's in play?
Bomb?
Oh, yeah, Ratchet
It's
Bomb.
slow, but...
Ratchet Bomb's a fine card. Ratchet Bomb kills True Name Nemesis.
Yeah.
I would think I think Ratchet Mom's quite good in this matchup.
Yeah, also could kill Jitte.
Yeah. It seems like it solves a lot of your problems, actually. Like, I think...
I mean, obviously it's slow, but...
I think the only cards you're losing to in this matchup are permanents. It being slow doesn't really matter because Brandon doesn't really provide much of a clock.
Blowing it on
Present.
3 could get both Blood Moon and True Name, too.
Boosh! As well as, if he still had him in the deck, his own Matter Reshapers.
Mm-hmm.
As well as his own Trinispheres.
Yeah. But we already figured out that those maybe shouldn't be in the deck, right?
Yeah. All right, Ian, going to be on the play for this last game here between Eldrazi and Jeskai Stoneblade. It's the first time we've gotten to see Eldrazi there. Does the pile shuffling after game 1 bother anyone else? I think pile shuffling after sideboarding is extremely reasonable. The only time I would never pile shuffle is between mulligans. Pile shuffling is a critical aspect of counting one's deck once after you've sideboarded and making sure that you have 60 cards. I do it between games every time.
Yeah.
Just because I've gotten burned before presenting an illegal deck.
Good job.
Really, the only thing that bothers me is pile shuffling between mulligans, and anytime an opponent does it, I always ask them not to.
Scum.
Yeah, scum, aka the correct thing to do. You have a limited amount of time to play Magic.
I think that problem was exacerbated this past season.
Obviously, but doesn't mean every format but Standard now still has fetch lands. So
The problem is I've also had opponents who mulligan, overhand shuffle their deck 5 times and then present it again.
So shuffle it for them. What are you worried about?
I don't have to randomize it.
Yes, you do.
I feel bad for
Yes, you
them.
do.
They're probably just going to mulligan again.
Doesn't really matter. Either way, looks like both players going down to 5 cards here. Pretty unexciting. This might be a less exciting end to this match than we had seen. Although I think the Eldrazi deck likely mulligans extremely well, given how much mana their 2 lands can produce. We'll see what both these players can put together here. See at least a Cavern in Ian's hand. Let's see if he's happy with the rest of it. I see a Thought-Knots here as well. Brandon has Stoneforge Mystic, Force of Will. I would have kept that. A 4-card hand with a 5-card hand with a Force of Will. I think that's a fine keep on the draw. I think missing your first land is fine for a couple turns, especially since
a
you
no-lander?
Yeah, I think I would have kept that.
Was there a cantrip?
I don't know, but there was a Force of Will.
Ugh.
Is that better than 4 cards? I think so.
So Ian's on 5, Brandon's on 4 already?
Yeah, I think
Jeez.
so. If you're, Force of Will is not great in the matchup because of Cavern of Souls, but he's on 5 cards too. I think I would have been inclined to keep that 0-lander.
Yeah, possibly.
2, 3, 4 cards. Nope. There we go. And see, now we have just a strictly worse 4-card hand.
Yeah, looks like he's keeping.
I mean,
I would bottom any non-land.
I'd rather keep it than go to 3.
Yeah.
Ian gonna top his, unfortunately, for Brandon.
Probably land.
Cavern on Eldrazi and go. Yeah, no soul land here. Drawing Force of Will is not the worst. Well, it is kind of the worst.
Because of the cavern?
Oh, immediately Force of Will this? Have to, right? Force of Will's not going to counter anything else with the Cavern out. And now Ian passes it back. Does Brandon draw a land? Nope. He draws a Ponder. Oh man, does Ian have no play? He's a Thorn. Having the Wasteland is just so brutal. Oh, never mind. He has Eldrazi Temple? Good lord. Goes with Thorn first.
It turns off any cantrip.
It does.
Like Ponder, which would have been castable this turn. So that seems like a pretty decent play.
Oh, and he drew another Eldrazi Temple? Good lord.
Oh, Reality Smasher, you say. Uncounterable.
Thought-Knots here.
Take Ponder?
Does it even matter? I would probably take the Stoneforge, but I mean taking
All right, takes the most unbeatable card, I guess.
also the 4-mana card. Brandon draws. I mean, Brandon needs to draw a lot of lands. Hey, there's one land, Caracas.
I think taking Ponder was right there.
I agree.
Or Ponder or Stoneforge.
Yeah, I think taking a 3-drop is not necessary.
And you're right, it's a 4-drop.
Oh boy, second one. What do you want?
Yikes. Stoneforge. Nope, we're wrong every time.
Can't possibly be right. Attack for 4, put you to 15. Your turn. Hey, there's a fetch land, and I mean this is going for Batterskull, right? Just immediately go for Batterskull. That's like your only out.
Yeah.
I think so. Like,
Oh yeah, absolutely. But like now, Ian's kind of in a not great spot,
unless he has Reality Smasher.
which I think he does, right?
Well,
Maybe
I
not.
don't see his last card.
Maybe I didn't see it right.
Brandon's gonna ponder.
Wow. Just looking for lands? He doesn't have time for this.
I think this is. He's on a 2-turn clock. I think this is gonna cost Brandon the game. I think if he played the Stoneforge, he might have been able to get in this. If Ian has to draw nothing, obviously. But
Batterskull was in there too.
yeah, it was a pretty easy shuffle then. Brandon shipping that back. Now I don't know. I mean, if he finds what, like a land into a land into a land into a Supreme Verdict, he bricks. Okay. Oh yeah, great. Yeah, we're done here. Ian taking this one down 2-1. Eldrazi taking down Jeskai Stoneblade. Oof. Oof. Good lord. Gee, Eldrazi's pretty good. Thought Not Seer is pretty dumb.
Yeah, I mean if your hand is all Eldrazi Temples, Thought Not Seers, and Reality Smashers, it's gonna look pretty good.
Agreed, and it did.
It did.
Very powerful stuff. Anyways, that's the last match of the night for us.
Yeah.
Got to see some pretty sweet matches. I highly recommend that first Enchantress Sneak and Show game.
Yeah.
That was sweet. I think
That was
my
the
favorite.
best of MTG Card Market Live moment.
Definitely. The turn 1 Grizzlebrand, insane. Anyways, wanted to thank everyone, especially our new followers, for tuning in tonight.
Yeah, we had a few others recently. Well, I guess just one more that I didn't call out earlier. Evo G Quicksilver.
Yeah, thank you for following. Really appreciate it. So thanks for tuning in tonight. Had a good night of Legacy. This will be up on the YouTube page for you to view at your leisure. Our streaming schedule is every Thursdays we have Modern at 7:30 Central, and every Wednesday we have Modern at 7:30 Central, and every Thursday we have Legacy at 7:30 Central.
Wednesday night, Thursday.
Wednesday nights, Thursdays, and Thursday night Wednesdays. This is here at MTG Card Market in Chicago, Illinois. Come see them at GP's. Sell them your cards. Buy their cards off at mtgcardmarket.com.
You might see us at GP's too.
Yep. Check out and there's plenty of content on MTG Card Market being churned out by a lot of really smart people. Jeff Hoagland, Steve Mann, Emmanuel Suter. A lot of really good writers showing up there.
Yeah.
It's
Ralph
really nice
Patesh.
Yeah, Ralph Patesh as well.
Recent GP winner.
The only hero of the non-Eldrazi. The hero we needed.
Yeah.
Anyways, thanks again for tuning in, everyone. Always appreciate it. And have a good weekend. And we'll see you next week.
Captain QC, what's up?
How's it going?
Have a good night.
A little late. Good night.